had a great week. I'm just going to go through the items that I had pulled in last week and tell you a little bit about the Cosmo Cube replacement that I got. So this is the Cosmo Cube Posh. It's not blinged out, so you'll see it doesn't have the sparkle here. And while I really enjoyed the sparkle, I didn't like the extra bits of glue that were around the unit, so I'm really happy that they were kind enough to send a replacement for me. So these are the glitters that I pulled in this week. It is Diamond Dust on top and Into the Blue on the bottom there. And they're both the glitter and glows. And the Diamond Dust has a chunkier glitter and didn't move my eyeshadow around, but I did notice that with Into the Blue, it's the thinner consistency with a finer sparkle, and it did move my eyeshadow around, so I had to be really careful with that just to kind of pat it on pretty gently. These are the 3 lippies that I had in rotation this time, and this first one here is the Too Faced Too Too Hot. It's a throwback metallic, and I really love the packaging on it. It's a really pretty red, and you know, unlike some that have sparkle around the outside and then you get to the actual lipstick and there's no sparkle, this one seems to have sparkle throughout, at least through the portion I've used so far. And I love the packaging. So that one was a winner. This next one is Lime Crime Birthday Suit. And these have a vanilla scent, and it was really a great nude to use. So I used it quite a bit. This next one is Bite Hazelnut, and it was a really pretty shade, and I also used this one most often this week with the birthday suit. It looked great with the gloss on top of it. This is MAC Warm Rose, and it is a mineralized skin finish powder. And I thought that it would be, you know, somewhat like a highlighter, but it's not. It's really just more so a brightening powder for me. But it was nice, but it's not quite what I thought it was going to end up being. So I did use the Ciate highlighter a little more. And back in the back here, I have the JD Glow. These are gel liquid liners. And I love these things. And these are the shades Shooketh and Translate. So this is Shooketh and this is Translate. You just have to be really careful not to layer these because they don't layer very well. If you layer them too much, they'll start to peel. More like the glitter pops from Too Faced. And this was a Huda Beauty Melted Matte or Matte Metal Melted Eyeshadow in shade Wednesday and Froyo. And this was very pretty also. This was probably one of my favorite liquids that I used this week for eyeshadows. So I did keep in the Becca Velvet Blurring Primer from last week and the MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation and this MAC Concealer in the pot here. And the only new item I brought in this drawer is this Jeffree Star Translucent Powder. This stuff smells like cotton candy. It is really nice, and I did like it. But I think I want to pull in one of the powders that has more color to it this week and, you know, give that a try. So last week I pulled in this Cover FX face palette, and it's really pretty. I love the blush, and I was able to make the finishing powder, the brightener, and the contour work as a bronzer, but the highlighters were too dark for me. The next palette that I pulled in is this Baked Browns from Dose of Colors. And these shades, they work really well. It's a very soft formula, and they're very blendable, and I love this palette. This Neon palette from Huda Beauty, I was able to make some really pretty looks with it. I guess my favorite shades in here were going to be this shade right here, this pink. I really got a lot of use out of that one. And I love the shimmers but you really can dig into them pretty easy because they're a little bit crumbly and you get a little bit of fallout on your face. So this is one of those palettes that you probably want to do your eyes first and then do your rest of your face. And then I was able to make some very pretty looks with Willsong, and I recommend this palette from Menagerie. I did have some issues with delivery. They didn't send me my complete order, and I did have to write to them and have them send me the other palette, which, by the way, I bought 2 of these because I'm going to use one for a giveaway. So if that sounds something that you would be interested in, then let me know down in the comments. And it's time to shop my stash. Alright, I think what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to pull this Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer and the Marc Jacobs Glow Enhancer, and this is in Do You, and also this Lancome Tint Idlewear Foundation, and the shade is somewhere on here, I'm sure, and it just says 110 Ivory. For powder this week, I'm thinking that I want to pull one of the Hourglass powders. I think I pulled Dim Light before, and it was a little dark. So let's just try Diffuse Light. And then for bronzers, I think one of these Anastasia bronzers would be good. And this is in the shade Tawny. For lippies this week, I think I'm going to pull this Hourglass refill in the shade You Can Find Me. I think that'll be great. And I think I should pull another one. Let's see what shade this is. Ooh, that's a pretty pink. Okay, that is Bite Meringue. We'll bring that one in. I think I want to bring in one of the Ofra highlighters this week. And let me see which one. Okay, this is a good one. So this is All of the Lights. And you can see it's got a nice variety of colors there. So I think that'll be a good one. And then we'll bring in this Tom Ford. And this is the Gilt Glow. Beautiful shade. Alright, I'm going to bring in probably one of these Hourglass blushes. So let's see if we can find a good one. Ooh, look on the first try. Diffused Heat, that's going to be a good one for this week. And then I've really missed these Too Faced blushes. This is How Deep Is Your Love. Oh, that's so pretty. Yes, definitely bringing those 2 in. Alright, for powders this week, I thought I wanted to try another one of the Jeffree Star ones with a little bit more color. So I have a couple here to choose from. Okay, that's shade Fair. And this is shade Rose. I think I'll bring in Fair. So pretty. Love that packaging. I've been thinking about bringing in a face palette. So I think I'm going to bring in this one here from MAC. And it's in the shade Fair. It has a highlighter, a blush, and a bronzer. I always like to bring in one of my smaller palettes, and I think I'm going to bring in one of these NARS palettes. Let's see. Oh, Quartz. That's a pretty one. That's got some beautiful sparkly shades in it. I think I'm going to grab a couple of these Marc Jacobs ones here. Let's see. Okay, they're called the Sequins. And that shade is Glam Noir. It's a little dark, so I'll leave that one. Okay, this one is Blitz Glitz. It looks like a purple. I'll bring that in. That'll go with the quartz really nicely. And that is Glamethyst. I'll leave that one. Gleam Girl. Let's bring in Gleam Girl. Since I picked quite a bit of sparkly shades, I'm going to go with one of these Viseart matte palettes. And this one is Cool Mattes 2. I haven't used my Lorac Pro palette in a while, so I'm going to bring in the Pro 3. I did decide to pull in a couple of more of the Stila And I pulled in Sea Siren and Vivid Amethyst. And there's a couple of swatches for you. The Steely glitters are going to go right here in this top compartment. These are the two lippies that I pulled, and this is the Hourglass You Can Find Me. And there's a swatch right there. And it's a little bit of a larger lippy, so it'll go right here in this drawer. And then this is the Bite Amuse Bouche lipstick, and that one was in the shade Merengue. And there's a swatch right there for you. And this one will go right here in the top. This is one of the Marc Jacobs sequins in Blitz Glitz, and it's a very pretty purple. And as you can see, it has a little bit of a topper to keep the product depressed because it is a looser product. And you got to make sure that you screw the lid down very tightly, or these will absolutely dry out. And there's a swatch right there for you. It's very pretty. And then this is Gleam Girl. And it's a bit of a looser formula. It also has the little depressor to keep the product pressed. And you definitely have to hold on to those and make sure you tighten them up really good. And there's the swatch right there. And as you'll see, it's more of a chunky formula, and you definitely have to use like a glitter glue with these. But it's very pretty. And the Marc Jacobs sequins will go here. So this is a closer look at the two blushes that I brought in. And this one is Hourglass in Diffused Heat, and the Too Faced blush in Love Flush, How Deep Is Your Love. And I've got swatches of both here. This is Diffused Heat right here from Hourglass, and this is the Too Faced blush in How Deep Is Your Love. And you can see that they're similar, but this one here has a sparkle in it that can be hard to pick up on the camera here. And this one is a matte blush. And we're going to put both of those inside here in this area. This is Tom Ford Gilt Glow, and it's a very pretty highlighter with a gold shift to it. And I've got some swatches here on my hand of both the highlighters I'm about to show you. And there is one that is Gilt Glow, the first one, right there. And then the next one is this Ofra All of the Lights highlighter. And so I did a mix swatch right here, and then one each of the areas, which I will probably just use it in the different areas because, as you can see, all mixed together is too dark for me. With primarily these two shades, which are these two over here. So I'm going to add the Tom Ford Gilt Glow to the drawer here. And then the Ofra packaging, it's too big to add in one of these smaller areas, so I'm just going to bring it into the bottom drawer. This is the Anastasia Tawny Bronzer, and here's a swatch right here. And I really love that bronzer. I think it's a beautiful shade, and I'm just going to add that to the back here. Going to go ahead and add the Marc Jacobs Glow Enhancer and Primer here. And then the Lancome foundation will go in this drawer, and then the Jeffree Star powder will go here. The Hourglass finishing powder in Diffused Light. I'm looking forward to using that, and it's just going to go in here. This is the MAC face palette in the shade Fair with the highlighter, blush, and bronzer. And here's some swatches here. Very pretty shades. And I'll just add that to the bottom drawer. This is the Lorac Pro 3 palette. And, you can see I've got quite a bit of pan in some of these shades. And I'll just keep working on that. And then there's some swatches for you. And I'll add that to the bottom drawer here. It's more of a supportive palette. This is the Viseart Cool Mattes 2 palette. And I brought that in since the other palette that I'm going to be using is full of shimmers. And here's some swatches for you. And I love the Viseart matte formula. It's really wonderful. And I'll just add this to this bottom drawer here. This is the NARS Quartz palette, and it's got some beautiful lid shades. Here's some swatches for you. And I'm just going to add that to the bottom drawer here. And this completes this week's Shop My Stash. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you'll consider subscribing, and have a great week. See you next week.